Good afternoon, welcome to the Market Wrap for week ending the 18th of June 2021. Stuart Williamson here, APW at the helm. Okay, this week I was going to cover some factors on inflation and has, as you might read in reports in the press, reaching 2.1% and over 3% in the US. Does that mean an end to the property boom in the UK or in the US for that matter? Okay. It's been reported that inflation is running at 2.1% in the UK. It's here to stay potentially. Does it mean an end to the property boom? I mean, a short while ago we talked about the press and what they were saying about inflation, and the Daily Mail, bless it, said we can get as high as 10% and the end of the world is nigh. Okay, firstly, that's what's driving inflation. According to the Office of National Statistics, Grant Fitzner, who is the head economist there, said in the main it's coming from fuel prices, which are up by 17.9% over the last year. So that's pretty high. That's going to have a knock-on effect to all transportation and so on and so forth. In addition, you've got clothing prices are up by 2.3%. Why is that? Because there's a lot of discounting going on when people weren't spending, and now that discount is ended, so prices have been hiked. In addition, for example, Karen Ward at the JP Morgan Asset Management said consumers have got all these savings have accumulated over the last year when they weren't allowed out. The supply now is really struggling to keep pace because suddenly it's all back on, we're buying. And so that's been very difficult for supply to keep up with. You know, we've looked at other things such as why are second-hand cars going up in price by so much? Now, what Karen Ward calls these things, she calls them pops in the inflation market. And what that basically means is that it's a pop in that it's a one-off, it's not a continual thing. And those pops are occurring all over the economy. And both the Fed in the US and the Bank of England have been trying to get this message across that we're going to get short-term inflation that's going to go up, but then it's going to come back down again because it's going to be difficult for the supply of the industries to cope in the short term, because one minute you're turned off and then the next minute you're full on again. So you're going to see a lot of that, and it'll basically mean that short term there's going to be a worrying factor. Is inflation going to go up, and will interest rates then follow it? And the Fed said yesterday, in fact, that they may increase rates to deal with this. But I think that, to a certain extent, that's a lot of saber rattling and drum banging to make people understand that they are serious about it. Let's look at a pop, an example, airline tickets. Now, during the COVID-19 sort of 14 months before we started getting all the vaccines coming in, airline tickets fell by 24% in price. Now, people are traveling again, vaccines back, they've gone up by 10%. Okay, so that's a 10% inflation on 12 months ago. However, they're still way below where they were pre-COVID. So that's the whole point. Airline prices are much higher than a year ago, but they still remain considerably cheaper than they were pre-pandemic. So we're getting a short-term pop in that. The Bank of England has warned the public over these and other supply chain issues, saying it'll take time for sectors of the economy to get back to normal. Once the kinks are worked out, the Bank of England asserts inflation will stop growing so quickly. And if we take this view in the property market, it means that house prices should continue to boom, because we're not going to get a huge raise in interest rates. Now, how does that go into specifics in the property market? I was talking to a builder this week in the UK, and he had a great quote saying, the challenge at the moment of launching further sites is assessing the current material and labour shortages. And basically, you've got a 60% increase in timber prices over the last 12 months. Bricklayers can only work 2 days a week because of mortar rationing. There's no ready-mix concrete, cement in the UK. All the supplies have gone. So it's difficult to know, is this a short-term thing or is this a long-term issue? From what I've just said, it's a short-term thing. So, but there are other underlying fundamentals that will keep on pressing the new build property prices up. For example, after Brexit, 42% of the EU labourers went back to their home countries in Eastern Europe. So there's actually less people working in construction now than there ever has been. Global demand for goods is high, and because of Brexit, we're not getting our fair share in the UK because it's clogging up of ports, there's a lot more customs issues. So the UK is suffering to a certain extent where the other countries haven't got such a bad situation. 90% of our timber used is imported. Amazing fact, I didn't know that. So there are the issues you have there. You've got basically cement shortages, timber, steel, paint and chipboard. They're all up in price. And so this is a pop potentially. So short term, it's going to be a little bit more expensive, and it may continue into the new post-Brexit, new. We don't know that. It doesn't mean that the property market is in a bad situation at all. The property market is very positive in the UK. It doesn't look like interest rates are going to go up. Yes, the stamp duty holiday is coming to an end. That won't have that much of an effect, I don't believe. People are still very keen to move. And there's a recent Zoopla survey of 2,400 homeowners, said that over half of them were stuck in homes that didn't suit their needs and were considering moving over the next 12 months. 25% said they were stuck in an area they did not want to live, and 23% said not having a dedicated space to work from for home was a real issue. So a lot of people are still out there thinking of moving, and when you can work from home as opposed to being in the office all the time, I think that's not a bad thing to do. So that's the message of this week, is that really inflation is back, but it's not the end of the world. So it's still a good buying opportunity in the UK. House prices are still going up. We're selling property through our forum website, and they're going within 24 hours. So it's vibrant, but there's still value. They're not overpriced. So very quickly, some humorous aspects to finish the talk. What is the fear of moving house? Tropophobia. Okay, reasons why some people don't want to move home. 1 in 5 homeowners said they like their neighbours too much to move, and 8% said they could not leave their property because they'd buried pets in the garden. So there you go. The property market in the UK is still doing well. It's still a great buying opportunity. There's lots of cheap money out there to help you do it. We can do that at APW. Have a look at our forum. Next week we have a webinar on Wednesday with Prosperity, talking about how they're going with their developments and how they're coping with post-Brexit. Please do join us if you can. Thank you very much.